Hello, it's Tiffany Lorraine, the Resilient Mother. I'm bringing you another great expert speaker today. We have Sheila Dancho, who does direct sales as a mother and has learned how to balance it all. The stage is yours. Please tell us more about you.
Well, thank you, Tiffany. I'm delighted to actually be here, and I'm a leading edge lifestylist. So much has changed this past couple of years, and a lot of us women entrepreneurs and moms are trying to figure out how to make it in today's world that we live in. And what I do is I work with a lot of entrepreneurs to help them get their spark back, get their excitement back, and learn how to really embrace the changes so that they can really accelerate their businesses.
Oh, that sounds so needed today, and a theme that's kind of come through all of the women that I've spoken to. What advice would you give with what you do as it pertains to resilience?
Resilience. I would say my life has been very resilient. And I think the best way is just to share my story of what happened to me at the age of 32. When I was 32, I was super mom. At least I believed I was super mom. So a lot of the moms that are listening today, they probably are trying to do it all. They have their career, they have their children, they have their husbands, they're looking after the household. And that was me. I was working for a very large computer company back then, and I was a large project manager. I practically, Tiffany, lived out of a suitcase.
Wow.
I was on the road. I wore out 3 sets of suitcases in 14 years. So I was living on the road. I come home on Friday night, unpack, look after the kids, do laundry, pay the bills, go shopping, and then pack Sunday. I'd be off Monday. And it was Monday morning, and I was very, very exhausted. I came back from yet another business trip, and I went to work so tired. I mean, Tiffany, I was just dragging myself around, and I just didn't feel great. And then I started getting these chest pains, and I ignored them. Just ignored them. They'll go away, and did some deep breathing and relaxation breathing, and they intensified to the point. Honestly, I thought I was having a heart attack. I called my doctor. She said, "You better go to Emerge." So what does a 32-year-old woman who thinks she's having a heart attack do? I should have called 911, right? But no, I drove myself to the emergency center. They admitted me right away. They rushed me in. They put the EKG on, and they took a look at it, and they said, the good news is you're not having a heart attack. Whew. Wow. The bad news is because you just got back from another business trip, we think you have a blood embolism in your lungs. And then they left. And then I laid there, and that was like, boom, that was my wake-up call, because I laid in that hospital bed like terrified. I thought that, I could stroke, I could have a heart attack. I mean, if that blood embolism let go and all this, my mind was just racing with all the things that could happen.
Ooh.
And that was the defining moment in my life that I realized that I needed to take care of me. I needed to take care of me as a mom. Otherwise, I couldn't take care of my family. And that's when I made the resolution to change my life. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, Tiffany. And really, like Les Brown, who's one of my favorite speakers, says, the how is none of your business. And it wasn't, because I didn't know how I was going to change. I just knew I needed to, and I wanted to. And Tiffany, just by making the resolution in my mind that I was going to change, that was it. I felt just so much better. I felt like I was taking control back in my life. So when they released me a couple of days later from the hospital, I, at that point, I kind of sent it out to the universe. Like I needed something different. I needed to take care of my health. I needed to get some different source of income. I needed to get a better balance in my life. So what did I do? Well, I had a phone call from a complete stranger. It's so weird. Like, it's amazing how the law of attraction works. I sent it out there, and I received a phone call from a complete stranger who said there was a new business coming to Manitoba in the health industry. Would I be interested to meet him and his wife for lunch? And I said I did. So I took a look at the information, and that started me on a completely different trajectory of my life. I found a way to actually start taking care of my health. So at this point, I started eating better, started exercising, started on a high quality nutritional supplement, started looking into the other options of income in my life, because my corporate job, I was stressed out, worn out, constantly in fear of losing my job because they were constantly downsizing. So I started my plan B, and I really believed in like the residual income side of things. So when I had my full-time job, I still had my part-time business. So I was creating my fortune with my part-time businesses. So I started a global health and wellness business with the gentleman that called me. So I partnered up with him and his wife, as well as I started a rental property business. So I have a variety of real estate holdings now that generate residual income. And it took 2.5 years, Tiffany. So it wasn't easy. It was 2.5 years of trying to balance both, plus a third pregnancy. I have 3 daughters, so plus a third pregnancy. You know, how do you juggle it? Anyway, it's amazing when you have this hope and vision for the future, how it really powers the present. And
absolutely.
so I had this amazing energy and vitality because I was taking care of myself better. Plus I had this real big vision and this hope that I could fire my boss and escape the rat race and be at home and be a mompreneur. And you're a mompreneur, you know how it is, and a lot of the listeners are. I wanted a better balance. It wasn't that I was afraid of hard work. It was, I wanted a better balance where I could be with my children, you know, take them to the games and and the recitals and that sort of thing, and as still produce a great income, a 6-figure income.
Oh, this is just perfect for what our audience is looking for. This is their story in a lot of cases. And now, can you talk about the amount of success that you found after this hard time? It's because you are in the millionaire club, I believe, for USANA, and some other achievements as well.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share. So my real estate holdings have grown, and they continue to grow. I actually coach a lot of people in the real estate world too. It's kind of a side note. But yeah, my home-based business, my direct selling. So some of the listeners may be in the direct selling industry. It was the best thing that I could have ever done for me and my family, because it helped me develop personally. And a lot of times in the corporate world, and some of your listeners may be in that corporate world, they don't really encourage personal development as much as when you really embrace the direct selling industry. So I had amazing teachers show up through books and CDs and live presentations, and now podcasts and webinars. So I went through this whole personal development journey to develop these life skills. Like before this, I was quite a computer nerd. Just put me in my cubicle, let me do my work. But when I was in the direct selling industry, I had to develop those personal selling skills. Now, a lot of people say, I don't like sales and I'm not very good with people. Well, I wasn't either. I had no sales experience. I really was kind of awkward, but I had this burning desire to succeed. So I went through the development, and I had all these wonderful coaches and mentors through all sorts of different formats. I turned my car into a rolling university. Instead of listening to music, I was listening to back then cassette tapes, or a few sets of those out, CDs, now podcasts. So I turned my car into a rolling university, and that developed the skills for me to attract people into my life that were as excited about the possibility of earning a fantastic income from home, part-time or full-time. So my team grew, it went all over the world, and is continuing to grow. I still continue to work at it. I still am, as a leader, working with my leaders and helping them succeed as well. And in the process of some of this, of development, I took all my NLP, neuro linguistic programming courses, and it's fascinating how how that has changed me and changed the people that I coach and mentor. It's really the mind game, the mindset of success. You know, like the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, it really starts up here. So when I made that decision to change my life, it changed a lot of different things and mostly my thought process.
And that's where I'm finding I started, especially during COVID. It was like, all right, I need to shift the way that I think. And I think a lot of us were maybe facing ourselves for the first time. So you had different things that prompted you there already, which I think helped some people be more resilient during COVID. And others, it was a wake-up call to, what am I doing with my body? What is with my mindset? Is this the lifestyle I really want to be living? How are my relationships? It was like we all had to stop and take an inventory of, what do we really want to get out of this life, and what is really important and what the priorities are. So I think this is perfect as we're all coming out of it and seeking resilience and that opportunity to have a comeback story and bounce back stronger than we were before. So I love everything that you've been able to share from your personal experience, let alone. So it's inspiring because it means, you know, anyone can do this. Like, it's possible for you as well.
Yeah. Anyone can do this, because I live in a small country town, 3,000 people, 3,000. I call it my one horse town. Lived here my whole life. I didn't have a big circle of influence of friends. I mean, I had probably my high school friends and the people I worked with. And I created a global business when people barely had a cell phone or an email address. And now with social media, I found actually my businesses thrive during COVID because people are much more hypersensitive about their health, their mental health, their physical health, how to create a business online. So I really embrace that. And now I'm really excited that because of the use of technology and how majority of people have embraced technology, that it's easier to build a global business now than ever. Or, you know, my direct coaching business in the real estate world, that through Zoom, I can coach people anywhere and everywhere. Like, it really is amazing. And one of the things that, because I live in a small country town, I say I have deep roots. I moved 5 miles away from where I live, and I'm a 4th generation farmer as well. Wow. I actually farmed the land that my great grandparents, the pioneers, cleared by horse and hard work and real manpower and horsepower. And so I really embraced this whole heritage of where I came from. And so I said, you know, basically, like how what you said is, anyone can do this. Anyone who makes the decision, and that the decision to do it is the big starting point, and the resolution and the commitment to do it no matter what, to change your life no matter what.
And you did it with 3 toddlers, let alone. I think that's something somebody else needs to hear. It started like, I've got my little guy in my lap right now. That's just how it's working right now. So you just got to be flexible that your story is going to be your story. And the beautiful thing about it is not that it's different from someone else. It's that it is unique and that it's yours. And that's going to make you reach your full potential. And that's going to inspire others and help them to have permission to do the same. Do you find that to be true?
Yes. And I think it's important to show how you can do it with a family. My daughters were, when I started my home-based business, were 5 and 2. And then I had a third daughter. So I had 3 little girls that I worked around their schedule, but I also did it with them. And I think it was really inspiring to other moms to see I was building a business with my children. And we would often go down to people's homes and share the information. We took our kids with us, and they usually had children. So we did it as as families. And that was really, really inspiring. And the other benefit of having a direct selling business and really embracing it and going through this personal development is that the children in your environment absorb the learnings as well, because they hear it, but they also hear what you're saying. They also see what you're doing. So they're modeling your behavior, and they're really having some very, very positive experiences as you grow your business. I mean, you're leading by a wonderful example. So that's really, I see, as my children are all grown up. My oldest is 30. How old is she now? She's 30. Oh my goodness, she's 32. My middle one is 29, and my youngest is just turning 24. So I can see the results of the fruits of my labor. And in fact, Tiffany, I'm writing a book called Roots and Wings. And I'm talking
wonderful.
about the roots. Yeah. I'm talking about the roots of my, the pioneers of my country roots. And the subtitle are the lessons learned from my great-grandmother, or the success principles, I should say, I learned from my great-grandmother. And I was old enough to remember my great-grandmother, and she told me so many wonderful stories. And she told me of having this faith, no matter, she lost 6 out of her 9 children died from various things, but she had this beautiful heart-centered approach to life. And her faith was so strong, and she was still so positive and loving despite all the hardships. She talked about how hard they physically worked, and they were so committed to having this beautiful dream of success for their children and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren, how they reinvented themselves from upon retirement at farmers at 65. Then they got into the building industry. They actually started building homes and rental properties in Winnipeg. They moved to a different city, and at 65 reinvented themselves.
And we need to hear that. These are the stories we need to hear, especially the next generation. I feel like there is somewhat of a victim mentality with some of the rising generation. And it's just because they don't understand what generations before have been through, and then they've risen to the occasion. And that's what we are as a humanity. We have this potential to rise to the occasion, to adapt, to create solutions and options. And we have a heritage of that. We've got people who've been through world wars, the Great Depression. There's all sorts of things we've been able to overcome. So anything that comes, we can handle it. We can overcome it. There is nothing that can stand in our way except for ourselves. So I'm so glad you started with the mindset, because that's where it all begins. And that's what this whole summit really is about. Like, take care of your body, take care of your mind, incorporate it into a lifestyle. And then that's going to affect your relationships. And that's everything, our family and those that are near and dear to us, not only the ones that are in front of us now, but the ones before. They're a part of you. They're part of your identity, and you have their strength and their resilience. And if you don't know your family history, a book like this is perfect. I hope it'll inspire people to go look and see what their ancestors did and came through, and that's a part of them and part of humanity in general. We are resilient. We can bounce back. We can start a new chapter, start a new story, and anything is possible when we put our mind to it. Thank you so much for sharing. We're getting close to the end of our time. I understand that you have an offering for our audience. Would you like to explain what that is?
Sure, absolutely. And it's about this mindset of wealth. I have a free webinar for anyone who's participating in your summit if they would like to attend, and you could share the registration link with them. It's the Secrets of Manifesting Money.
Nice.
It's a 1-hour seminar, Secrets of Manifesting Money. And I talk a lot about your past programming. And because I'm a neuro-linguistic program, a master practitioner and teacher, I help people realize their past programming, which you just touched on so beautifully, affects how they think today. Because past programming affects your thoughts, which affect your feelings, which then create your actions, which then create your life. And we just have programs running. I call them meta programs that are running in the background. And it all starts with the past programming. So I'll be talking about identifying maybe the blocks that are holding you back from the success you want. And where did you learn the past programming? Who did you model? What did you hear? And these type of things around money, because people have so many issues around money. They all want more money, right? But I have them go through an exercise, and then they'll realize what bubbles up, what feelings bubble up around money. So it's going to be a great webinar. It's going to be very enlightening. They're going to definitely get a shift. I'm going to give them.
I'll be there. Sign me up. I need that.
Practical things to what to do after the webinar. And then some people may be motivated to hear more from me and find out what else I have to offer.
Wonderful. Thank you for flexibility with my little son. He just really wants to be with mama today. And I want to encourage him to be on my lap when he can be inspired by the people that I am rubbing shoulders with and getting to interview. It's just been wonderful what the internet's brought into my home and into my family. The examples that, if you're the 5 people that you're around the most, I'm really loving who I'm around now. So now I want to do a little bit of fun. if I can get him to give this back to me, I would love to do and see your best Zoom box dance move. As soon as I find
box.
because we're in this box, right? So the move has to fit within this box.
Okay.
So like I kind of do this kind of thing, or I do a lot of stuff with my hands. That's what I do. So I'm curious to see what you do. I just got to get some music up here.
Get some music on. Hey, a fun tip. I used to take belly dancing. I took belly dancing for fun for years. So you put some, some belly dancing music. I'll get the
see what I can find here.
Shake my hips.
Woo-woo. All right, here's some upbeat background music. See if we can get it to be Bollywood. Bollywood's fun. I learned a little bit of Bollywood. All right, and play. Come on. Not exactly Bollywood, but you get dance too? You get dance? Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right, that was so fun. Love it. That's perfect. All right. Thank you so much. I'm so honored. Thank you and your flexibility, and we had a little bit of challenges getting this to go today, but we did it. We're resilient. We got this, and you do too. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and stick around for the next speaker.